I audible?
Yeah, Harsh, I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. So welcome, Varun, to this initiative, the Unfolders initiative. So today we have Varun Jhaveri, who's the officer on special duty for the National Health Authority in the Government of India, and personal comments that his Twitter is the best thing to like check on what is happening with the COVID situation in India. Like literally, Varun, that your Twitter helped me win a debate. So thanks for that. And apart from that, he has been also the project lead for Arogya Karnataka, and which was India's first universal health coverage scheme. And also that don't forget everyone that he is an engineer and SRMite. And so we are gonna unfold and we are gonna get profound knowledge from Varun today. So Varun, welcome to this initiative. And we shall start off with our first question, which is that you being an SRMite, what made you transition from a tech background to a non-tech? And as in what was the role of MUNs and debates, and could you like speak on like what was the perks of MUNs debates and what should one refrain from the same?
Well, firstly, thank you, Harsh, for having me at the Unfolders. It's really exhilarating speaking to a lot of, young colleagues of mine. Uh, as you mentioned that I started off with engineering, and that was my undergraduate study. So when I was doing engineering, fortunately, I had the option and the exposure to attending a lot of model events right from 2010. So I think the model UN was a platform which really opened a lot of avenues for me. Wherein I learned a lot of practices, a lot of issues across the globe pertaining to governance, pertaining to policy making, how different countries were shaping up. So in a way that really helped me open up the horizons, because I was coming from the city of Ahmedabad, and really did not have a lot of exposure there, to be honest. And when I came to my college, of course the exposure increased, but model UN was a tremendous avenue to build a lot of skill set. I think for me, I have actually attended more than 60 model UNs. So every other day on the weekend I was either giving an exam or I was participating in a model UN conference. Various reasons. First was I got to meet a lot of interesting folks at the model UN. Second was that I got to learn so many interesting things about the world, as well as what was happening within the country. And third was that my communication was tremendously improving, along with other skills like research and all. So I think model event really helped me understand where my passion lied, and it really helped me understand that I wanted to work in something which can actually help a common man. There are so many avenues that there are so many examples that I can think about. But the really crux of my passion really lied on the fact that how can I help building a more resilient society, and as an engineer, how can I help in that particular manner. When you mentioned that how can what are some of the things that we can probably refrain from when we are attending the model UN conferences, I would say that the model UN is a world on its own, and it is very easy to actually get trapped into that particular world. It's a sort of a bubble, and it's a bit different from the reality. So my advice has always been that one should understand that both this world, the real world and the model UN worlds, they are a bit different. Model UN, you should use that to build the skill set, and you should use that skill set in the real world. A lot of colleagues, a lot of professionals, I have seen who were, drenched in model UN, world of idealism for some time. and that also included me, by the way. So I think it's always important to understand where those boundaries lie, and looking Model UN as a skill building activity, rather as a career development or as a world of its own. So I think that is something that I would like to give my 2 cents on.
Yeah, thanks for this. And also, like, I like to convey to the audience that through his journey and through minor things which has been had a major impact on his life, Varun is gonna like unfold a lot of things, and this is something which you all shouldn't miss on. So like focus on whatever he's saying, and whatever doubts you have, how much ever you have, you can ask that on the chat box itself, and we'll address them during our rapid Q&A. So yeah, so Sharma has some questions for you. Yeah.
Right. So you've been a part of TFI as a fellowship in your initial years. So like, what were your learnings from it? What opportunities it gave you, and what did it taught you overall?
Well, so right after my graduation, I had option of joining a few tech companies, and then I had the option of joining the Teach for India Fellowship. I think the Teach for India Fellowship, why I found it very attractive was that it was giving me an opportunity to actually work within the communities, to understand how the communities operate, what are their aspirations, how they live, what are their daily life challenges. And within the 4 years of the college that I was that I witnessed, I think as I mentioned before, that that passion of working for the society and probably getting involved in the whole governance sector was something that was of keen interest. And I particularly feel that it is very important for us to actually understand how at least the 70 to 75% of the country, how they live. What are some of the challenges that they face on a daily in a daily life. So when the Teach for India opportunity came through, the opportunity was to work in a low income community, work with the students, work with the parents, help students learn, teach them. So as a matter of fact, I was actually deputed in Pune, and I was working in a very low income community called Vadgaon Sheri. And what had happened was that when I had come, before that there used to be a school building, like a pakka school building, and it was in a small space. In the summer break that happened, there was a legal dispute between a contractor and between the school authorities. And when the school staff was not there because it was summer break, the contractor, he completely bulldozed off the building. So when I joined that particular school, there was pretty much no building. We erected the tin sheds, and we erected those tin rooms, and practically I spent 2 years of teaching grade 9 kids just within that tin sheds. The experience was, I would say, it was a fantastic experience just to be with those kids, just to be a part of the movement that you see that you are helping the kids build their particular future, because this were grade 9 kids, and they were approaching their board exams, and they were really in a stage wherein I was trying to shape up their lives. And also at the same time working with their parents. Most of the parents were involved in daily labor, so they were not able to give a lot of time to their kids. So just working with them, just understanding what are their daily life struggles, how do they see their kids growing up. And there was one thread which was very common across the parents, is that all of them used to say that भैया जो मैंने अपनी जिंदगी में किया है वो मैं नहीं चाहता अपने मेरे बच्चे करें, मैं चाहता हूँ मुझसे आगे बढ़े और मैं चाहता हूँ कि उनको अच्छी नौकरी मिले. So often we say that the parents are not invested within this community, but these parents they have that conscience about how important is the education. It is just about bringing them in. A lot of parents, they were so much filled with gratitude every other week, they used to come, they used to sit with us. They used to say, how can they help in this journey? And, because they didn't know how to actually, help their kids in homework, how to help them understand some of the concepts. But, just get gratitude and just that passion to see their kids growing up. I think it was a great experience. So it really helped me, it really helped me grow as a professional and as a person. It helped me understand a lot of empathy. It helped me understand a lot of resilience. There were days when the parents, they used to decide that whether they want to pay the fees for the gas cylinder or for the fees for the school children. So it was a very, very different sort of experience. And as a as a young professional, it also gave me a reality check, because for all of us, the normal priorities and preferences are very different. For us, sometimes the priority is probably getting a great job, probably traveling to some places across the world. But for them, the real preference was just the survival. And I think that is what the country is really about. So I think it was a tremendous experience and really helped me understand how what are some of the key things that the country aspires for, and it made me understand what are actually the ground reality within the country.
No, that's quite profound, because I had a very similar experience, and I can relate to your experiences very closely, because while I was interning at PCGT, their idea is to improve governance, but also they have this program called Kuchor, where they teach young children who are probably orphans and located in isolated parts of Bombay and other parts,
Yeah.
and they teach them values. And just talking to them and talking to their parents, I had a very similar experience. So, and it does give you a lot of perspective overall, and it changes your mind. It gives you a wider vision, a wider lens to view the world that's right in front of you. So moving on, there was you were a part of UNESCO GAMAG. So could you just tell us more about it, and how do you get involved, and what was your role?
Yeah, so again, that was one of the platform that I, really explored from, my engagement with model UNs. So, sometime in 2013, there was this deep realization that had happened that, model UN was great, but I'm not really able to act upon what I'm discussing, or, what I'm taking away from MUN. So I really wanted to participate in something which was more tangible. And at that time, one of the key movement which was happening across the world, was the Arab Spring. Arab Spring had just recently concluded, and a lot of countries, they were getting liberated. Democracies were getting established, and one big issue at that point of time was that there were a lot of journalists who were covering this type of coverage, and there was massive human rights violation which was happening, within that particular section of media. A lot of journalists who had traveled to countries like Libya, Tunisia, a lot of them were brutally killed, and the worst was that there was no country who was taking the accountability. So UNESCO had started a platform which was called the UNESCO GAMAG, which is the Global Alliance of Media and Gender, wherein the objectives were twofold. One was how to promote media literacy, and second was how to establish and how to advocate for gender equality in media. So, when I got exposed to that particular platform, it really sparked off that particular interest and passion. And I wrote to the organizing committee that I want to get engaged with that particular platform. It was a relatively a new platform at that time, and I sent them a couple of working papers and a couple of research papers that I had chalked down, wherein I had written about my thoughts and some of the key conclusions that I was seeing from the movement, and how UNESCO can play a pivotal role for stopping that type of human rights violation. So I think that work, it really struck a chord with the organizing committee. They thought that there is this young person who is trying, to probably suggest something. So, let's hear him. And I think that was really very kind of them, because, they were very senior professionals. So, to present that findings, I was invited, to the first UNESCO's Forum on Media and Gender in 2013. And I presented my finding. A lot of senior professionals there, they found resonance with what I had presented. And I think they really found, or rather they saw a lot of passion in me. And so they made me, a member to their particular forum. And then within that forum, I kept on working. I rose to the ranks of becoming a world youth representative for that forum. And from there, my basic role was to advocate for the forum to involve more and more youth. I got to travel across the world. I got to represent the youth. I got to represent the work which was done by the forum, and speak about some of the activities. And finally, in 2015, I had put up a proposal for forming a youth committee, within this particular forum. And finally, that particular proposal was accepted, and I was made the head of that particular youth committee. So I served as a head of that youth committee till 2018, and now that particular forum is led by other colleagues of mine. But I think it was a fantastic experience for a young person like me. Taught me a lot of things, primarily about international governance, how the member countries work, how diplomacy works, how to approach a problem with perspective of young people, from a perspective of young person. And in all, it was a fantastic experience that I got to meet a lot of passionate young folks across the world. So I would say that was really a great avenue for me.
Right. So to continue on, you mentioned your you having a perspective of the youth. So did it play a role in you founding the Young Leaders Consortium, the YLC, and what is it exactly? Could you tell us more about it and your learnings throughout the entire phase of it?
Well, YLC. We started realizing, back in when I was in my third year of college, that the quality of extracurricular activities, including model events, they were slowly depleting. They were becoming more of an entertainment activity rather than as a learning experience. And the idea was that how to help various schools, various colleges, conduct much better extracurricular activity which has a focus on a lot of skill building. And that's how the organization Young Leaders Consortium was formed. So me and a couple of my two other batchmates, we formed that particular organization. And the approach was how to shape up experiences for young people, such that it can help them in a practical skill building experience. Because if you look at our college, in the 4 years of college, what we typically do is, of course, a lot of it is gone into academics. We probably do some of our sports and probably some of the college fest. We really do not have a very structured learning experience or a skill building experience. And, even things like working in teams, efficient communication, strong interpersonal skills. I think those are some of the things which are extremely required for being successful at the workplace. So, the idea was that how to simulate or how to, stitch an experience which will provide such type of exposure, to young people both in college and schools. And, that was the primary objective. I served as the president of that organization almost for 5 years. It was a tremendous experience. We worked in 6 states. We expanded to almost 14 cities. We had a full-fledged team of 40 plus young people, who were looking after different chapters, who were doing a lot of training, a lot of skill buildings. We conducted more than 70 training workshops, and we trained around 10,000 students. So in and all, it was an organization which had a very big footprint. especially in this space, because it's a very unstructured space. And then in 2018, of course, a lot of professional commitments, they took the front step. So I was not able to spend a lot of time with regard to leading the organization. So we had to temporarily suspend the operations of the organization. But I'm actually very glad that now we have found more young people who want to take ahead this organization. And very recently they have now announced a leadership series featuring a lot of young people as well as senior people who will be talking to people across ages on their experience, as well as we are releasing an online coursework on legal remedies and constitutional framework. So that is also something which is in place. So I think now the organization has kick-started again, and of course I'm not able to lead it with the time and passion that was possible earlier. But I'm just glad that the organization has restarted again, and I'm very hopeful. And if any of you or the viewers of this channel want to engage with that organization, please do reach out. I think it's going to be a great experience for each one of us.
For sure. This is something which our budding impactors might get help from. And so now coming to this IIC, which is the International Innovation Corps. So like, how did you become a part of it, and what did you exactly do in it?
Yeah. So the IIC is a sort of a social impact consulting program of the University of Chicago. Every year it selects around 10 to 15 associates from India, and at that point of time it used to take them to University of Chicago and used to train them at the business school, which is the Booth School of Business, as well as the policy school. So I had the fortune of applying and getting selected. It was a very competitive process, and fortunately I was selected for that. And once the selection was done, I was trained at the Booth School of Business for about a month and a half, specifically on project management. So I think that, and I still remember we used to work for like good 16-17 hours a day when we were at the University of Chicago. So I think that was the training of the IIC program about. Once we were back, I think the IIC program, how it works is then it places young professionals with various government departments. So I was placed at the Niti Aayog, and I was helping Niti Aayog in designing one of their digital policies. So I was helping them design a national data and analytics portal, which was a sort of a futuristic analytics portal for the government data. So I was working in a team of 4, wherein a couple of my colleagues were from US and a couple of us were from India. And we were actually working very closely with the office of Mr. Amitabh Kant, who is the CEO, and we helped Niti Aayog design that particular portal, as well as other digital initiatives, because at that time Digital India had just been launched. So there was a lot of focus, and there was a lot of attention on how to improve digitization and the digital governance within the country. So I think that was something that I did, and based on that, my journey continued, and then I was promoted to project lead for the government of Karnataka's project, the one that you mentioned before, and then the National Health Authority happened. So in and all, I think the IIC was a great experience. It taught me how to actually work in very diverse teams, how to probably embrace difference of opinions, because my team had such diverse professionals ranging from an economist to a public health graduate, to a political. And I think the key strength of the team was really the difference and the diversity in opinions and ideas that we had. So how to weave through the difference and create that unanimous deliverable. I think that was really a key learning experience for me from this particular experience.
Yeah, so like this is something which like this is the differentiating point between a boss and a leader. That a leader always digests everyone's opinion and works like decides on something which is beneficial for everyone. And now, like this is something which I wanted to know about.
Yeah.
You were the project lead for Arogya Karnataka, and then it became Arogya India, if I'm not wrong. Like it was like upscaled on the Indian level scale, and today it's a different level. But now, when it comes to Arogya Karnataka, what was your exact job, and like what impact did you see it was doing on people? Like how many crores of people, and what was the exact?
Yeah. Well, so let me talk a bit about the health systems here. So when we look at our health system, and when we compare that to, let's say, a country like US, one of the big challenge that we have is that there were a lot of people, who did not have the access to financial resources to buy any insurance. Now, what happens is that if you do not have an insurance, and you get any particular serious disease, like let's say you have a choked artery in your heart and you require a heart bypass. So what happens is that either number one is either you try to borrow money from money lenders at a very high interest rate, or the second thing which can happen is that your family, just for the sake of them, you do not take treatment, and perhaps you're just waiting to actually go on the deathbed, and that was happening across the country. Now, with the health insurance, what happens is that you get the treatment without paying any particular sum of money because you are covered by the government or by your personal premium that you have paid. And that was a very big problem that we were facing. As a matter of fact, every year in India, 6 crore citizens, they fall below poverty line just because of the serious health expenditure. So it's a huge problem. We generally do not talk about that, but it's a very it's a very very big size issue that has actually cropped out the country. In Arogya Karnataka, the vision was that how to provide this type of health insurance product to all citizens across state. So Karnataka has around 6.5 crore citizens, and they wanted to be the first state in the country to actually roll out something called as a universal health coverage scheme, and they had named it as Arogya Karnataka. So through my IIC experience, I was promoted as the project lead, and I was deputed at with the government of Karnataka to help them design this particular insurance scheme. And the crux of this was that all the processes that happen should happen in a digital manner. Karnataka is relatively is a state with a relatively good tech infrastructure. So making sure that every hospital gets connected, all the claims which happens, it happens on a digital process. The people who, like, every citizen is informed about this health insurance scheme. They can register for it, they can get enrolled. Everything should happen. So it's a very complex project to actually design a health insurance. And then there is also a lot of health economics at play. That what type of amount should I give to hospitals? How much coverage would I provide to all the citizens? How much expenditure will it have on the government budget? All those different things. So I was fortunate to work on this particular project. And I particularly looked after two things. One was the citizen registration system, which we call the citizen enrollment. That let's say if I want to get enrolled into this particular scheme, how can I do that? What are the list of documents? What are the process? How the front end will look like? How the data is stored at the back end? Should I take an Aadhaar? Should I not take an Aadhaar? How to a lot of capacity building, or rather how to train a lot of people at the kiosk who have to actually do the registration and all those things. So, very interesting process that we had to chalk out. And the second one was something called as a referral system. So in a referral system, what happens is that, let's say if you have a fever, you should not, end up at a heart hospital. You should start with a general OPD. And then, if your symptoms are more severe, then that OPD clinic should refer you to the higher level of care. So, that does not happen in India, but it happens almost everywhere across, like UK, US. You have to go to your, here we call it family doctor, but it's called a GP, general practitioner. You have to go to a GP, and then the GP refers you to the next level of care if you require it. So this helps in ensuring that, the hospitals which are delivering a higher level of care, they do not have to see patients with common symptoms like fever, cough, cold. They should just be reserved for patients who have, severe diseases. So it helps doctor increase their efficiency. So that was the other system that I was devising. In and all, the systems that we devised in year number 1, more than 1 crore people, actually got registered on that particular system across the state. And, the referral system that we designed, that was put in the place in Karnataka, became the first state to launch a universal health coverage system. And more than that, the first state to have a referral system in place. Now, to what I've recently heard is that Karnataka is actually taking a step ahead, and now they are going to make a digital referral system of the current referral system which is in play. So I'm very happy that the state is doing well, and the processes that we had supported the government with, they have stood the test of the time, and they are working well, and now they are getting scaled across the state.
I mean, that is something you should be very proud of. Like, you did such a great impact at like the beginning. Now coming to the second step of your life, the current step. So, like, what's your current job, and like, also, what is your current job? And then I have some questions with regards to the current COVID situation. But like, what does your current job look like? And so now it's on a national scale. So, like, what tension or like what responsibilities are on your head right now?
My current job is a very interesting assignment, and it actually built on the experience that I had in Karnataka. So, what the story was that, based on the experience that I had in Karnataka, I was presenting, our learnings, to a team of central level bureaucrats. And I still remember the date was 27th January 2018, and on 1st February 2018, right, 3-4 days after, the finance minister, Shri Arun Jhaveri, at that point of time, he had announced that India will be having the world's largest health insurance scheme, which would be covering more than 50 crore Indian citizens. And that scheme was called Ayushman Bharat. And as a matter of fate, what happened was the officers to whom I had presented my learnings, those officers were given the charge of building that scheme. And I was basically asked to come to the central level and support the team which was building this particular health scheme, Ayushman Bharat. So it was more like, now we have built for the state, now here is a chance to build for the country. So why don't you come and you help us build that particular scheme? So of course, and I was around 25 at that point of time. So it was too tempting a an offer to not take it up. And I was actually planning. I was actually going to go for my higher studies in masters in public policy. But at that point of time, this was an offer which was, which was too big to not take it. So, I joined the National Health Authority, which was given this particular task, and I started working. And I think after 6 months, I was deputed as an officer on special duty. And let me tell you that within 4 months, we designed this entire scheme. And not only did we design, we launched this scheme. The Honorable Prime Minister launched this scheme. So all this happened within 4 months: designing, planning, launching, coordinating the launch, coming with the implementation plan, prepping the states, building capacity, putting IT systems in place, informing the beneficiaries. We launched that within 4 months on September 23rd, 2018. As soon as we launched, it was the largest scheme because of the number of beneficiaries which were covered. So now I work as an officer on special duty. One particular experience that I can remember, which is a very interesting experience, and just wanted to share, was that once the scheme was launched, a big issue was that how to inform the beneficiaries. The 50 crore plus beneficiaries that we cover, they are the bottom, the bottom of the bottomest beneficiaries, which are lying on the economic levels. So they do not have a cell phone, or they do not have the the internet. So how do you actually reach out to them? So when we talk about 50 crore plus citizens, we are talking about around 10 crore households. So one household has average 5 members. Okay. So an idea which came up was that we will be delivering personalized letters, which would be written by Honorable Prime Minister to each individual beneficiary, which would be personalized. So just to give you an example, if you are a beneficiary, the letter will come to you with your name, with your address, and with the name of your family members. So every letter would be different from each other letter. Like that, the idea was that we will deliver these letters across the countries, from Himalayas to terrains of Northeast to remotest islands. And I was very, very fortunate to given this particular responsibility, of helping in this particular project. And just within 3 months, we completed this task of delivering letters to more than 7.8 crore households across the country. Printing letters, packaging letters, delivering letters, tracking letters, distributing letters, and ensuring that the letter comes at your household, at your house step. So I think that itself was like the biggest supply chain project that we would have ever seen. So I think that was an interesting project. And now, of course, along with helping the CEO of National Health Authority, I also work on several strategic areas. One of them is how to help the healthcare startups. So I lead the innovation area. Second is how to engage with public sector, and third is how to foster partnerships with international organizations. So that is the international collaboration vertical. So this is what my current role is right now.
I mean, that was like, this is, I don't have any words for it. I mean, how did you, what was your routine? So, did you work for 20 hours, 21 hours for that 4 months? How did you?
So when you're really enjoying your work, you really lose the track of your time, especially, when the targets are so close and when the deadline is so close. So I really don't remember how, what were the hours that I was putting in, but, it was definitely a lot of hours. But it was a very challenging and a very enjoyable experience. I learned so much just within that 4-5 months. And I must say that my team and all my senior colleagues and all my supervisors, they were extremely helpful and supportive. So I think it was a tremendous learning experience for a young person like me.
That's great. Like that's a
Yeah.
great opportunity. And also, like, this one question I have right now is like, pertaining to health ministry. What are the future visions of the health ministry, and what are the next 3 months plan of action with respect to combating COVID? If you could reveal or say something about that.
No, well, I think the ministry, or I wouldn't pass a lot of comments on the future plans, but I would probably say that the work that everyone has done in the country, fighting against COVID, is, I think, tremendous. Is exemplary for a country of 135 crore citizens. The type of awareness generation which has happened, the type of capacity building which has happened, is, I think, tremendous. Like, if you go right now on a street, you will see almost everyone wearing a mask, and that has happened because of awareness generation, right from the honorable prime minister to the asha worker working on ground. Every particular person has only drive one particular message about how to build preventions against COVID. At the same time, measures such as lockdown, they really help government in taking time to build capacities within the doctors community, earmarking hospitals, and it really helped us reduce the rate of transmission. Our rate of transmission used to be 1.83 when the lockdown started. Today, or rather, before a couple of weeks, it was around 1.2. So, that fall in the rate of transmission was, I think, noteworthy. And I feel that the doctors, the health workers, the administrators, all the sanitation workers, all the medical staff, the nurses, and most importantly, every citizen. I think, bearing a few situation, I think everyone has acted very responsibly, and I think India has really, really, shown a good example of how to manage a pandemic like that. Because when people compare us with a European country, or with a South American, or with a Southeast Asian country, it's not a fair comparison because of the population and the population density. We are so much, and we are in a small space, and the population density is too high. So when we look at these two indicators, the type of controls that we have put in place is, I think, really remarkable.
Yeah, that's absolutely great. And from the leadership which we have right now, as in like managing a pandemic, should like make your country kokla, if that's the right word. And even the neighbors, the not so good neighbors. So that's something managing. It takes a huge amount of patience. And so
Yeah.
now coming to Prime Minister Modi. So like, have you met him? And both of you are Gujaratis. Like, what did you like? Did you speak in Gujarati with him, or like what was your conversation about?
No, so I wouldn't, divulge into what I spoke or anything. But yes, I have had the very good fortune of meeting him, and I also belong to the state of Gujarat. So he was also our chief minister for quite a long time, and I have had a fortune to meet him. More often when he was the chief minister, probably a couple of times I remember. But again, it was just. It was more about being an enthusiast, or rather an enthusiastic young person that I was, and meeting a leader. So it wasn't really a conversation, I would say, but it was more like just giving him my greetings. So yeah, I think he has been leading the country in a very in a very fecund manner, and he has really ensure that the country emerges out strong in fighting the pandemic. And I think he has displayed quite exceptional and very brave leadership while dealing with other issues also. So I hope such type of leadership continues in days to come.
So like we even wish, and like yeah, that's the point. So like now I'll be asking my last question, after which Sharma would ask the rapid question and answer, which we even had from participants from the form which we had shared previously, the registration form. So my last question to you is like, what part do you suggest for the current generation for this, like to contribute in the nation building exercises and also impacting the society?
Sorry, what?
What part do you suggest for someone like me?
What do I
Yeah,
suggest? The paths, there is no one single path. The paths, I won't even use the word path, but I would rather say that, for most of us, since we would be, in our 20s, I think this is really an age where you can really, really, take the road of unconventionality and experience the unconventional route to see where your passion and where your interest really lies, because this is the age where the risk of going wrong is relatively less. You do not, or perhaps you right now do not have any family to support. So I would say that it is really this time when you can experiment a lot. I have, and I still keep on experimenting a lot. There is very few things that you can lose at this particular age, but there are a lot of things to gain. And I particularly feel that there will be so many failures. That would be a great learning experience for you at this age. So a lot of folks who go into college, with thinking that I have to pursue this and then come under a lot of pressure. I would not recommend that. I would rather recommend that go to a college with a very open mind and be like an open slate. Try listening, try observing what others are doing. What is happening in the other part of the world, and experiment. It is 4 years. 4 years. And trust me, those 4 years never come back again. I had really tried hard to get back into college group, but it just doesn't happen. There are always going to be so many responsibilities after college. So, although you might think that colleges are very academically heavy, but I think this is really the time when you will have so many avenues to just fail, fall, but do not shy away from experimenting. So I think this is one thing that I've always done. And when you're experimenting, you naturally become a hustler. And in times like this, it is never a talented person who I am going to be scared of. It is always going to be a hustler who I am scared of. So become a hustler, I would say.
Yeah, that's quite profound, and it's advice that I think will help a lot of us here, because most of us are young students about to pass
Yeah.
out or in college right now. So now we had this challenge where people had to guess who you were before we revealed your name. Unfortunately, that person couldn't be here, so I'll ask his question on his behalf. So he wishes to know your job requires a lot of commitment and a huge responsibility. So what keeps you up and running? What's your psyche, and what makes you go beyond your limits to just achieve those things?
Yeah. In my current job, what really keeps me going is that I know that with everything that I'm doing, I am going to help save lives. In last, 20 months since the time the scheme has launched, more than 1 crore Indian citizens have benefited from them, and more than 1 crore Indian lives have been saved. And I think that is phenomenal, right? That is the biggest sense of purpose that I have. That when I wake up, I know that the work that I will do today will help me save some of those lives. So although I do not have the direct, sort of a power like what a doctor has, but I know that with whatever better processes that I will make, it will indirectly help in saving people's life. And these are not the ordinary lives. These are the lives of people who are standing at the last in the development queue. So generally there is no one for them. There is no one who is actually caring for their life. So that particular sense of purpose, that you are helping the one who does not have help from anyone else, that is really something that ignites me. And there is one particular quote which has struck deeply with me. Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay in 1960s, perhaps in 1960s, I think, said that देश की प्रगति तभी होगी जब वो आदमी जो अंतिम चरण पे खड़ा है उसे सारी योजना का लाभ मिले, which means that the person who is standing at the last of the queue, if he is getting the benefits of that program, that is what development is about. And that is something that has really struck me. It is something that I read sometime in 2012-13 during my college, and I'm really guided up by that principle. It really shook me as an individual that this is the type of lens that I want to look the world from. And that has really struck a chord with me, and it really helps me get up every morning and keep doing some good and interesting work.
I believe it's a beautiful quote, and it gives us another way of looking at things, another way to impact lives, more lives. So the next question is, so your entire journey, was it planned? How do you plan things, and how do you take decisions on your next steps and your next work or whatever you choose to do later? I mean, considering what you've done before.
Yeah, well, I have seen that the plans, they really don't work out that well. Of course, you can plan. Planning is good. I plan for things like planning for my project, planning for my deliverables. But I know that if I plan something right now for the next 5 years, it is not going to be very prudent. So I tried doing that before my college, and even in the first year of my college, but it didn't work out that well. So I have learned that it is much better, to rather stay in the moment. And I have 3 things which are very dear to me. One is my passion. The second is my determination, and the third is my diligence. So when someone asks me that, what really drives me is that I am first of all very passionate about any particular cause or any particular work. The second is that I'm very diligent in terms of the fact that I really like doing things on time. And the third is determination, is that I do not get very or rather I do not get bogged down easily by failures within that particular project or deliverable. So I think these 3 things are something that are really the tools, and I would say that it is more important to equip yourself with these tools rather than keep planning for very long times. So I think this is what has really helped me.
All right, and so we nearly ending the nearly and reaching the time to end the session. And before that, I would just like to ask you one last question. What is your vision for India, like 50 years down the line? What do you think India should be? And with you being a part of it or not, like regardless, how do you see India being after 50 years, and in terms of the work that you're doing?
I think India is going to be at the forefront. There is absolutely no doubt that I have. The type of digitization and the digital revolution that has happened in this country, and the scale of human resources that we have, I think that is going to massively drive forward the development of this country. And I see that happening in like next 10-15 years, not even till next 50 years. So that is, I'm extremely hopeful of this country, extremely hopeful. The second is that I see a lot of processes government processes, other processes getting toned down a bit, becoming a bit more citizen friendly, so that people can actually become more invested and more engaged in the whole part of the governance. Third, that I can clearly see is that the demographic dividend that we have, I can see that the young people are going to be the actual flag bearers and the change makers of the development of this country. So far, I have seen, or rather, so far we have seen a lot of decision making happens at a very senior level, whether it's a politician or whether it's a policy makers. I think that particular matrix is changing a bit. I see a lot of young powers who are empowered with technology and the right skill set. They coming at the forefront. Whether it's startups, whether it is politics, whether it is policy making, businesses. I see a lot of young people, really empowering themselves. So I think, in the next 10-15 years, when the country is going to grow, it is really going to be the young people who are going to be the force behind that growth. Uh, so I think these three things I am extremely hopeful, and I can really see India emerging as the powerhouse. Whether it's the economic, whether it's the digital, whether it is, whether it is with regard to sustainable development, I really see, things falling in place for this country, and I'm extremely hopeful in the way that this country is shaping up.
I hope that people watching this also, especially being the youth, play a role in the vision and help improving certain aspects of governance and overall the state of India in general. So with that, I would like to end this session, and I would like to thank Varun for giving us this opportunity, giving us your time on a Sunday evening. Thank you so much for being here, being a part of this initiative. I would like to thank each and everyone watching this, and especially Team Unfolded, because they are the people who made this session happen. And with that being said, I would formally like to end this session. Thank you again, everyone. It was a pleasure.
Thank you again.
Thank you for having me. You guys are doing a wonderful job, and let me compliment both the Harsh for starting this initiative. I think we need many more initiatives, because when I said that the youth are going to be at the forefront, it is young people like all of us who are going to accelerate that. And initiatives like Unfolders, we need 100 more Unfolders to actually start this type of conversation. So thank you for starting this, thank you for leading the way, and thank you for having me today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Pleasure hosting you. Yeah. We can end this session, and we'll end the live stream also. Thanks everyone for coming.